there, Halo fans. This is Wesatron. Today we're going to be taking a look at Joyride Studios' Halo 2 Master Chief. This came from Series 8 and includes a shotgun, pistol, and infection form. It's the Flood, if I had to explain that to you. I originally passed on this series. I had the Halo 1 Master Chief. I had a Halo 1 Red Spartan, and while I liked it, it wasn't the best in the world. Like, even at the time, it was a little lackluster. Pretty cool, but not great. And when the Halo 2 figures came out, I was really excited, except the helmet was really off. It had like a really long visor, and it looked kind of strange. So, I never picked any of them up, and then I only recently found out that they later adjusted the helmet, if you may be able to see a little bit through the package, to give it a much more game-accurate look. And I was really excited to find out that they actually did that, because I always wanted a bigger Master Chief than the ones that came with McFarlane. McFarlane's toys are great, but they're in that stupid 5-inch scale, which, I don't know, they're just... It always kind of irked me, considering how little they actually do vehicles and stuff. It seems like the 5-inch scale is just kind of dumb, especially since they pioneered the 6-inch scale, but whatever. So this is from Joyride. These figures are really hard to come by now. I mean, they're available on the internet. They're just more expensive. I paid about $20 for this guy before shipping. It's got a nice blister card packaging here. Just a shot of Master Chief at the top, and then there's Flood forms back here. And then it's got the little Joyride symbol down there at the bottom. On the back, we've got the cross cell for all the various characters. The Heretic Grunt, Master Chief, Heretic Elite Leader, and Jackal. Collect them all, Microsoft, all that junk. Down here it says this was made in 2006. So again, a nearly 10-year-old figure. Not quite there, but a couple years away. I'll just let you guys pause on that if you would like to read it. It's just a little info about Master Chief and the Flood. So this figure looks pretty good. I was hoping that this would fit in with my NECA Player Select collection, 7-inch scale, but he looks like he might be a little bit big. So we're going to get him out of the package and see how he fares. So here's Master Chief out of the packaging in kind of a generic pistol pose, which you may not even be able to see. Yeah, just like that. Very nice looking action figure. I really dig it. So far, I'm really impressed with how tight the joints are. I really expected a figure this old to have some looseness, just by, the property of being older. It's actually quite nice. The figure overall has much better proportions than the original. The first figure, like I said, had a very long visor and kind of this weird elongated mask. It looked like they had just taken this head and stretched it out a little bit, which may have been off of early design work. I don't know the circumstances of it. But I really, really like this one much better. Just so you guys can get a really quick look at how he fares against the McFarlane Chief. This is from Halo 3, so the design isn't going to match up perfectly. But you can see some differences. For one, the vac metallized faceplate, which is very cool. They've kind of downplayed that a little bit, I think, in newer games. Made it the bump mapping is still there, but it doesn't seem to be as mirrored. Maybe I'm crazy with that. But yeah, you can see the detailing on the McFarlane is much better, as well as the paint and articulation and everything. It's just the size that irritates me, because they're so tiny. And they don't fit in with anything at all. I usually like to keep my collections pretty separate, but when I have a lot of video game characters, and Master Chief being one of my favorites is just kind of the odd man out, kind of irritating. So, but you can see, there's still a lot of nice detail in this figure. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this one next to it so you can get some ideas, if you own that one, like size-wise, how much taller this guy is. I mean, he's nearly 2 of them. So, yeah. So, like we said, we already looked at the mask a little bit, but we can get some better close-ups of that. Very, very nice detail on here. If you can see that shimmer, there is actually metallic flakes in the plastic, so it's got a nice metallic quality to it, which looks better. Well, actually, it might even look good on camera, yeah. I was going to say it looks better in person, but it looks pretty good. It's catching it pretty well. The brown or sometimes black Under Armour, it's not really like detailed anyway, but if you look closely, there's actually brushwork on there. So they have actually given this kind of a little bit of a weathered look, which looks really good. It's not super detailed, like you can see here, these lines here. McFarlane continued those down the shoulder and stuff like that. They didn't do that, I guess, for the sake of the articulation, but it still looks really good because of the extra paint work that they did on it. Very nice work on the chest. The midsection's got that same kind of painted look to it, where they did a little extra dry brushing and stuff on there. The back, you can see I don't know if this is supposed to be like a jetpack or what, I can't remember. I know at one point he jumps down from a ship to the planet and is super Texan, but I don't remember these like firing or anything, but they look cool. Nice detail, like grading look here on the back. Very, very nice overall. Just a really, really nice job on the costume. They did really well. No pegs on the bottom, no peg holes, but the feet are detailed, but not painted. So, very nice looking. I really dig it. If we go ahead and compare it to, as I said, I wanted to use it with my player select figures. We can just compare it right now to an engineer. Thank God the engineer is taller, because the engineer should be taller than everybody. But let's get Clubber Lang in here, because I got him on hand. And, you know, Master Chief is supposed to be about 7 foot tall. So, you know, he could probably work in this series. I thought he might be a little bit big, and he may still be a little too large, but he's not bad. I mean, he might fit in pretty nicely, especially if I crouch him a little bit, but very, very cool. So, articulation-wise, this guy is actually better off than I would have imagined. He's got a swivel head, which, you know, is blocked by the armor, but why do you need to turn his head all the way around anyway? My question on this is, looking up underneath, I can see there's a space in there, and there's a peg that goes into the skull, and there's a little bit of tilt here, like, but I don't know if I'm just bending the plastic, because it always goes right back. I don't know if I'm bending the plastic or if there's supposed to be a ball joint in there. If any of you have this figure, let me know. Is there supposed to be a ball joint in here? Because, yeah, it's got like a little motion there, and it almost feels like it wants to be a ball joint, but I can't tell for sure, and I'm really concerned about breaking the figure, because it is old and hard to replace. Swivel hinge shoulders go out to about there, pretty good range. Of course, you know, if you ever needed to fudge that, you can always, you know, do it this way. If you need the arm to go higher, you can just spin it around, stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of tricks for that sort of thing. Obviously, we have a swivel bicep, double hinged elbows. So one point here, we will take you to there, and then the second point right here, which will take you about there. So very nice range of motion there. Really good for holding the weapons, which is very cool. We've got ball jointed wrists, another really nice thing for holding weapons. Kind of loose, but the wrist really doesn't have to be super tight. I mean, it's a pretty light joint, so even if you set it up like that, it's not just going to fall on its own. It's just, you know, just not as tight as some ball joints are these days. You've got a ball jointed midsection, so he can go forward, back pretty good, forward pretty good, and a little bit side to side, not a lot, but a little bit of tilt in there, and then, you know, some rotation in there, and then he's also got a swivel waist, so it can't spin 360, or at least mine can't. Yeah, it looks like it's blocked, but enough to help you with the chest. You could get some really nice motion out of it. And we've got swivel hinge hips, so forward about that far. Back is hindered by the butt pack a lot, you know, like most things. The top of the thigh here, it bumps when, if I can, I hope there's enough light for you to see this. You see the edge there? When I push it, it just bumps right against the inside of the plastic. So if you were inclined to take your figure apart, that'd be a really easy to fix to improve the articulation. I'm guessing. I mean, without taking it apart, I can't say for sure, but I think you'd be able to get a better range of motion. But as of now, you can only go out about that far. So your widest stance is that, which is not great for a military action figure. You know, you want them to be able to get, you know, wide, cool stances, you know, but still, you know, good for like running and stuff. You know, it'll work for things like that. But that on its own is a little bit of a bummer. We've got swivel thighs all the way around there, double hinged knees, so one point here, that'll get you that far, which is already 90 degrees, and then a second point right here that'll take you that extra little bit. Now, the sculpt will still bump against itself, so it's not going to be a perfect crouching pose, but you can get him much lower than you might normally, so that's pretty cool. And then finally we have a ball jointed foot, so, you know, in, out, forward, back. This is a true ball joint, a ball and socket, and then of course rotation. So articulation-wise, pretty good. If there were two things that I wanted to fix, like, of course I always want a ball joint head, but two major things, I would improve the hips a little bit, shave those down a little bit so they've got a little more range of motion, and the ankles I would like to see a little bit more forward and back. Like the side to side I really like, but forward and back is a little hindered. So when you want to do like that crouching pose, you can only go forward about that bit. So I would probably shave some of this down, shave a little bit on the back too. Yeah. Now, we didn't really talk about his weapons yet, so we'll just go ahead and do that now. His pistol here, I don't know, I'm certainly not an expert on the weapons, but it looks a little small to me. The Magnum always seemed like it was, you know, a Magnum, like larger, but he's also a large dude, so stuff may look out of scale in his hands. But it doesn't fit in his hand perfectly. I've kind of got his fingers wedged in there right now, and his trigger fingers just sort of hanging out. But it looks okay once it's in there. You just kind of have to work at it a little bit. But if you unhook his fingers from outside of that, you can actually see that the grip itself is very tiny, and he's got a really open area there. So you really do have to wedge his fingers into the trigger guard. Now, for the pistol itself, very nicely detailed for something this small. You know, the slide up here on the top has got small indentations there that would be a grip for him to pull it back, you know, to rack the slide. Paint on the pistol grip, which is very nice. Some texturing there in the pistol grip. Very, very nice. And in the end, they actually did drill a hole down in it. Sometimes companies don't do that. And there's the classic split. So very cool. I dig it. It's small, but I dig it. His other weapon is the shotgun. This is a pump-action shotgun, so he's got a tack light on the front here. This is the barrel. And then I'm curious how this actually works. If this is the barrel, then do the shells store up here, maybe? Because I guess that would be the magazine tube. Oh yeah, because you load it from the top, not the bottom. Interesting. Never really noticed that before. Or is that the is this the loader? I don't know. Very cool, though. They painted the stock and pistol grip a little differently from the body of the weapon, which is, you know, standard. You know, if it's a polymer, usually it's a little different color, so that works very nicely. You know, it works overall. I dig it. This one is also a little bit loose in his hands, so you can see, like, it just sort of slides right into his hand. Even with the trigger, the finger in the trigger guard, it kind of wobbles a little bit. But once you get his other hand on there, you know, you're good to go. He looks like a Master Chief. The other hand, I mean, you're not going to often shoot a shotgun one-handed. I mean, maybe Master Chief would because he's friggin' Master Chief, but most people wouldn't. But he looks good, and also he can get, you know, because of his double-jointed elbows and stuff, he can get much closer, realistic shooting poses. So you can pull the rifle much closer to himself and, you know, get that kind of look going on. So that's pretty sweet. Lastly, for this figure, he also comes with the flood infection form, which we only talked about for a second. This thing looks really, really nice. They did some great texturing on its skin. Let me see if I can get that to focus a little better. There we go. Great texturing on the skin there. The clear plastic that they used here is like a clear... I think it's clear, just a straight clear, like clear white plastic. And then painted yellow and green underneath so that it appears like it's kind of glowing almost. And then they painted veins sort of on the plastic itself, on the exterior, not the interior. So it's got a really neat kind of three-dimensional quality to it. And then it's got its little sticker gripper things where it's trying to make you flood. These things are a jerk. But I like that they gave Master Chief the right weapons to deal with them. I always really liked using the shotgun with a pistol. A big fan of the assault rifle too, but those ones seem to be working pretty well for the flood, although they do spend ammo pretty quick, so be careful. Surprisingly, this thing, I turn the camera down a little bit, surprisingly stands up pretty well on its own. I didn't expect that. I kind of expected it to do a lot of falling over, and it's fallen over a little bit, but for the most part, just for having these little bristles, which are kind of bendy anyway, it holds up pretty good. Now it's not going to want to do it, but not bad. You know, very cool. A nice little addition to your display. You know, just to have that extra little thing there for Master Chief is a cool idea by Joyride. So this action figure, like I said, I paid about $20 for it before shipping. I'd say it's worth it. I would say for the scale to fit in, it's got pretty good paint. Not perfect paint. There's no paint on the armor or anything, but it looks really nice. The articulation is solid, if not perfect. But it's a nice addition, and it'll look good with your player select action figures, which I'm always up for, because that's pretty much my favorite line of anything. So this will fit in nicely with it. I'm excited to have him. I think the price is right. I wouldn't pay more than, probably because it's getting aged a little bit, probably not more than $30 for this figure, because he is a big figure too. I mean, he's big, he's beefy, he's heavy. Not more than 30 bucks. 25 is probably your sweet spot on this. So that's just my recommendation, but you may have a completely different one. I know these things go for a lot more than that, so just keep your head when you're on eBay looking around. Keep your head on Amazon or wherever you decide, if you decide to pick them up. And that's it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up below. And, yeah, you guys have a great New Year. I'll talk to you later.